Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here for how dance retailers are surviving COVID-19, sponsored by Whizbang Retail Training and Ballet Rosa. My name is Lauren Wingenroth. I am the editor-in-chief of Dance Business Weekly, as well as dance teacher. And we're really excited to have you with us today for 4 great sessions, all aimed at helping dance retailers get through this difficult time. We will drop the full schedule for today in the chat. You should have it in your email as well. All of the sessions are going to be hosted on the same Zoom, so we hope that you will stick around until 3 to catch them all. And we are going to go ahead and jump into our first session of the day, where we hope to sort of kick things off on an inspiring note, talking about success stories. Happy to be joined by 4 successful dance retailers from across the country who have all been able to stay profitable throughout this pandemic. So we are going to hear from them about how they did it, get some inspiration and some information. So we have Emily Meyerhoff of Attitude Dance Boutique. We have Ashley Kelly of Dance Depot, Kristen Ruggieri of Attitude Dance and Activewear, and Heather Aldi of Metronome Dancewear. We may or may not have time for a Q&A at the end of this session, but if you do have a question, feel free to go ahead and put it in the chat or put it in the Q&A tool, and we will get to it if we can. And we will get started. So I can bring in all of our panelists, and I will start by asking all of them to first tell us a little bit about themselves and their store, and then tell us a little bit about what those early pandemic days look like for you and what decisions you made in those first days, weeks, months that set you up for success. So I will start. Emily, do you want to start?
Sure. My name is Emily Meyerhoff. I own Attitude Dance Boutique in College Station, Texas. I'm actually going to be celebrating my 10-year anniversary as a business owner in June. I've made it 10 years. It's been great. It's been wonderful. I can't say enough great things about it. We in Texas, COVID kind of started, I guess, appearing or being talked about right around spring break, March of 2020, like early March. We were open for spring break, but it was slower than normal. The week after spring break, the kids didn't go back to school. There were no dance, classes. Everything was on hold. We were still open that week, but I decided to close because I didn't want to be one more errand that people were trying to run when they were asking everyone to stay at home. So I closed my doors on March 19th of 2020. And then a day or two later, our governor mandated that non-essential businesses close. And we were able to reopen May 5th. So I was closed about 6 or 7 weeks. While we were closed, I really tried to make sure that I communicated via social media with live videos, lots of sharing of online class opportunities that a lot of our manufacturers and other dance studios were doing. I really wanted to stay relevant because I couldn't share product information, about buying product because they couldn't come to me. So I really made sure that I stayed active on social media. I wanted to share a lot of honest feelings. And even though we were all scared and feeling very vulnerable, I felt like that was important to share that. While we were closed, my staff, before the mandate from the governor, my staff was allowed to be here with me. So we did some back office kind of rainy day tasks for a while, but then the way our mandate was worded, my employees were not even allowed to be in my building. So, and most of them are college girls. They went home to be with their families. And I came up here every day and just locked myself in the back to stay, sane, I guess. And I worked on our website, worked on integrating all of our inventory and uploading it there. And I just kind of hung on.
Totally. Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Ashley, would you like to go next?
Hi, my name's Ashley Kelly. I'm the owner of Dance Depot. We are actually in our anniversary month. This year we celebrate 28 years. I am not old enough to have owned it that long, but I shopped here when I was a kid and bought the store a little over 7 years ago. So it's been amazing. I love it, love it, love it. And we actually had, I'm so grateful, right before we had to close, we actually had our big anniversary event. We do a big event either in March or April, depending on the way the dates fall with competition schedules and spring break. But we happened to have it early in March last year. I want to say a week or two before we had to close. So I was grateful that we were able to do that. But very similar to a lot of what Emily said, once we had to close, we were never technically required to close completely. I'm in Florida, so I'm very, very grateful that I live in Florida because it has been easier to do business. However, I stayed open in the beginning and it was like trickling, not really worth, I mean, my children had to be out of school. My husband was still able to work due to his job. So I really, decided to close because, again, like Emily said, all the studios were closed, so nobody needed anything. So I had been active on Facebook, but not on Instagram. And so I took that time to really learn Instagram and become relevant on Instagram. That was fun. Being able to connect with other retailers was my saving grace. That really helped me a ton to be able to share how I was feeling, going through what we were going through with other people who knew exactly where we were at. And I think it was Mickey from Pennsylvania who said, we're in the same storm, but not in the same boat. I think is that what she said? So we're not all in the same boat because some people were open, some people were closed, some people were partial. Some people went into this very financially secure, some did not. I feel like one of the greatest things that helped me to get through it was being financially secure going into it, running my business in a way where I'm not pulling from, all of these things to make things work monetarily. And that helped. I jumped on the mask train pretty quickly with Charlie's Project, and they turned all of their legging fabrics into masks. And I was at home playing with the kids, and then I'd go in the office and I'm, on the computer, obviously working twice as hard. All of us were working twice as hard for very little pay, but it helped us to pay the bills while we were closed. So we were closed for about 2 months. And again, sharing all of that stuff on social media, very similar to what Emily said, letting people know what they could, all the classes that were available, which studios, staying in close contact with the studio owners too. And, I did realize too, I was open by appointment through the whole time. So there were days when I would come in and I would do virtual shopping appointments or personal shopping appointments. And I really had a good group of customers who did not lose any income during this time because of their line of work, and they were searching for ways to support small business. So I was so grateful for that. And they were coming in to buy leotards for Easter baskets and those types of things. So that definitely helped for sure.
Yeah, that's nice to hear. Heather, we will bounce to you next.
Did I unmute myself? Yes, awesome. I'm Heather. I'm the owner of Metronome Dancewear. And we have a little bit of a different business model than a lot of places. We do have a brick and mortar store in Carmel, California, which is a very small town, but it's a vacation destination. So we've really built a clientele from all over the state who come here for beach weekends and also point shoe fittings. So all of that was really cut with tourism just taking a nosedive. California's been very slow to reopen. Just last Wednesday is when we were allowed to see kids go back into studios. So it's been almost a year of things being very different. Hotels being shut here. They just opened their doors a week ago as well. So we're starting to see a huge influx of people. But we also have a mobile boutique. It's a full store on wheels that we were taking to dance studios all over the state to do point shoe fittings. And that had to stop because we just could not travel, and studios were closed. So it took a bit of doing to figure out how to pivot. And during that first week, I really did a lot of soul searching why I was doing this job to begin with. There's a lot of easier ways to make money than to be in dance retail. But what it really came down to is, for me, when I was a teenager, I found so much joy in the camaraderie of all the other dancers that I was with. I was never a great dancer, but when I was with them, I was so happy and I felt beautiful and strong. And so we really took some time to look at ways to connect with people on a very personal level and show them empathy, let them know that we could see how much joy was being stripped away from them, and look at ways to reconnect dancers to one another so that they could find that joy and find ways to encourage one another. So like a lot of you, we really turned to social media and started a lot of interactive projects for people to jump in on together and find ways to connect from home with one another. And hopefully keeping those relationships alive is what's going to keep our customers with us and coming back once everything is back on the right track here, which hopefully will be very soon.
Agreed. All right, thank you. Kristen, over to you.
Hi, I'm Kristen, and I own Attitude Dance and Activewear in Connecticut, Norwalk, Connecticut. We started out, Connecticut shut down pretty quickly. They shut down all classes. I think it was March 19th. And we were closed, I think, until May 22nd. I was in a little bit of an interesting situation when this all happened. I had a major orthopedic surgery that was going to keep me out of work for 5 months. So I had everything very well organized ahead of time, not knowing that this was coming. So I was home when the pandemic hit, and I really relied on my amazing manager who kept everything kind of going during all this. And when Connecticut shut us down, we decided we were gonna just appeal to the relationships we had built with everyone. And I decided I was gonna be brutally honest with everyone and just let them know how deeply in trouble we were. So I sent out an email, more like a letter, and I just told everyone that we needed their help. I had payroll to meet, rent to pay, and we were offering 15% off of gift cards. And the first day we had $5,000 in sales, which just basically told me how important it was to build those relationships with people, like Heather just said. And those relationships were why the store was so successful for all these years. So I had phone calls, I had texts, I had people sending me flowers and meals to my house. The response was just very moving. So moving forward from that, I decided that was kind of what we had to focus on, was just building relationships with new customers, strengthening relationships with old customers. I know about their families, I know where they live, I know what they do for fun, and they know everything about me. I keep joking around that I need a second cell phone because everyone has my phone number at this point. So I think when it comes down to all this internet presence that everyone has, Amazon, all the bigger ones like that, you're seeing this stuff on Walmart now, it's everywhere. I think if, because I've inspired customer loyalty, when people can take that easier route, I hope they see my face. And I think that has really been the key to there's no magic trick. I think that's really been the key to our success. So I started making regular appearances on our Instagram stories. For some reason, the more my face is on there, the better the engagement is. I don't know why teenagers want to see me, but we've done a lot of that, unboxing videos, product reveals. We started an online store. We did virtual fittings, all that stuff. But I think the key to our success last year was really in relationships.
Yeah, I like that you brought up the idea of the key to success. That's sort of my next question for everyone as you look, moving a little bit forward in time and now where you are looking back on the past year or so. What are those keys that you can identify, whether it was a decision that you made or a strategy that you implemented, or maybe sort of a fluke of where you live or where your store is? What do you sort of attribute to your success coming out of this? And we'll start with Ashley this time.
So one of the things that I tried to do, I mean, very similar to what Kristen said, customer service, I'm sure for all of us in this industry is the most important thing. My degree is not in business, it's not in marketing, it's not in retail. I went to college for something completely different, but I know how to love on people. And like you said, people are texting me personally all the time. I'm not a doormat, but I try not to ever say no to a customer. So if someone calls me, you get these, especially with all of these back orders, you get these customers who are calling you because they might be an hour or 2 hours like near you and they can't find what they need. And if I don't have it, I never just say, sorry, I don't have that. So let me get your name and number and let me see if I can track it down, because I have this army of other amazing business owners that work together to try to help the end user. So, customer service is just super, super important. But I also feel like even though it was nerve-wracking for me to do this, I feel like I tried really hard to keep business as normal as possible. So what my customers expected, pandemic, non-pandemic, with like our events or special sales or types of things I have a few things throughout the year that are staples that they expect. I tried really hard to continue to do that. I brought in new product lines, which made my stomach turn, but I brought in new point shoes, made my stomach turn, but it's worked, because I feel like you cannot sit and stand still when the world is like crumbling, because the dancers are going back and you can't just sit on whatever you had and not continue to move forward in the business, or you're going to be left behind. So bringing in new product lines, I brought in cute little giftables. Let me tell you, if y'all don't carry teleties, you need to carry teleties. I don't get paid for that, but they're little hair tie bracelet things, and the kids eat them up, eat them up, eat them up. But so little things that I could add like that to add on to the sale really helped. And the kids I would post about it on social media, or I would text it to some of my customers. Like my teenagers have my phone number, and I'll text them pictures of leotards or new things that I might order, and we'll order stuff specific in for them. So just really that customer relationship, like you were talking about, and trying to keep things normal and moving forward, not just sitting on, okay, I have these leotards from 5 months ago, I want somebody to buy them.